Hi, I'm Debbie. I'm from the Apprenticeship Hub, and today I'm talking with Niamh from Portakabin about apprenticeships.
Hi, you're right.
Hi, Niamh. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's great. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So, what apprenticeship are you completing?
So, I'm at Portakabin doing a product and design engineering apprenticeship, which basically involves doing a degree alongside working in the product and design engineering department. So, I'm lucky enough that I'm getting a level 6 degree, which is a BEng in manufacturing technology. This is completed at a very specialist uni, which is AMRC at Sheffield. So they're in partnership with the University of Sheffield. So that's how the degree aspect comes in. So because they're in that partnership, we get to be able to do degrees, but at the centre is only apprentices. So it's really nice to be a part of a place where everyone can relate to you. You're not in a class where people's like, oh, I was at uni club last night and now I'm doing this and now I'm doing that. It's nice to be relatable and everyone's like, oh, I was at work yesterday, I'm a bit tired, but we're all managing.
A lot of empathy and understanding there from
it's
your peers.
also when you do group work, it's easier because people get that you have to kind of schedule yourself around work and other bits like that, so it helps.
So why did you choose an apprenticeship?
So there was many factors in it for me. Later on in my educational life, so I think it was the end of high school, I found out I was dyslexic. Didn't know for a very long time, and that kind of showed me why I struggle to sit down with books and learn from books. It was very much I learn by being shown or I learn from practice.
Yeah.
So I realised like going to an apprenticeship would help me learn and get the better degree or get a better education, whichever way I can do it. So that was the starting point. And my granddad was an engineer for years and I've admired him for years. And he had loads of apprentices and he just said, this is, he's dyslexic, that's where it stemmed from. So that's when I was like, oh, this is maybe something that I need to do and I need to go for. And it was definitely the best choice I've ever made. I'm quite lucky because my partner is an apprentice, his twin's an apprentice. Like a lot of my friends are apprentices, so my life wasn't as affected by my mates going off to uni and things like that. There was people around me that were in the same situation.
There's quite a few people taking that route. You've kind of touched on it a little bit, but what educational route did you take to get onto that apprenticeship then?
So at GCSEs, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no clue. So I chose to pick a scope, to try and pick something from each area that would help me. So I picked BTEC Sport to learn about health and learn about coaching and being a leader and having them aspects. And then I picked food as a relaxation because I didn't want to pick, my other subjects were intense and I didn't want to have an overload. So I picked food that naturally I really enjoyed and naturally I was quite good at. And that allowed me also to learn about nutrition because my other route was going to be doing physiotherapy and things like that. And then I picked triple science, so I got to learn the scope of all the sciences, which is applicable in so many A-levels and courses. And then I learned French, so I'd be able to travel.
Good mix.
Yeah, so I chose to do that. And then I went off to do my A-levels at White College in Hull. I originally picked maths, further maths and engineering, But my engineering course is a bit different, but I'll touch on that in a second. But then found out further maths was way too much for me and chose to go to physics, which was easy, a really easy switch. So I switched quite early on, enough to be able to just start with everyone else and pick it up quite easily. So my engineering course is a new thing that's being run. It's a Cambridge Technical course, which basically is a mixture between a BSEC and an A-level. So there's now a new grade boundary, which is 2/3 exam and a third coursework. So it kind of gives you that mix. So I got to learn maths, physics, and then engineering side was CAD and business of engineering and things like that, which was really helpful to come into this role.
Quite varied as well there.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Out of interest, what response did you get from, you've mentioned quite a lot of your friends were on apprenticeships, so we know that, but what was the response from your family when you told them you were going to do an apprenticeship?
They completely agreed with me. They all saw that I've been a workaholic for a long time. I've always done something. My hobbies outside of work and everything is being on a horse ride. So I worked on a horse yard for a long, long time because it's an expensive hobby to have. And bless my parents, they did everything they could to get me in regularly. But I needed to be in more if I wanted to get to the level that I am now and carry on and do it and enjoy it. So I chose to work every Saturday there from about 12. So I've always worked, and they realise that you're going to enjoy keeping working and doing things like that. And I worked in a pub as well, and I've worked at Aston Barclays, which is actually far from here, the car company. So yeah, I've always worked, and I think they understood that it was the best choice for me, and they've always wanted me to start on the best kind of foot I can do. So then it's easier.
Hands-on.
Yeah, definitely.
Very hands-on. What don't you enjoy about your apprenticeship?
I think the only negative to me, which I think it is obvious, but it isn't as obvious when you sign up to it. You think, oh, I'm going to get paid, or I'm going to get a free education, but it's managing that workload. You know, at work, we're good in our company. We get time if we need to do uni work, but that's not your whole time. You know, you can have an hour slot here or something like that, and it's managing and going home and going, I'm not just going to chill out. I'm going to do a bit of uni work, and then I'm going to go. You know, we have a long uni day. 8 till 6 isn't, you know, it's a long day, and it's 9 hours of that is lectures. So it's just committing to it and committing to doing that work outside, because they aren't going to hand you the degree. You've got to do the graft.
Yeah. Did you find it quite hard to discipline yourself to that? Did it take long to get into that routine? I
think to an extent. I think lockdown, learning online kind of trains you a little bit to be like, you know, when you need to work. Don't have like a TV show playing at the same time as having your lecture on and stuff like that. I think that helps me going straight into going, right, you need to, these are your works. And I've always been a person to schedule. I'm terrible for it. So like when I block that hours out, and that's when I'm doing my uni work, phone goes away, everything goes away. I think that was the only thing that I've ever known to be a serious struggle. Yeah. You do always get envious of people going out partying and living the uni life. But I was lucky enough to go to Sheffield for 6 months and live in Sheffield and kind of be a student for 6 months, where we had to be at AMRC 5 days a week and do robotics and do CAD. So that was cool to get to do that. But not only that, you kind of got a little bit of an experience of uni life. And I can fully say it's not for me. I like being at home with my mum and dad. I like being with my dog. I like just kind of being a little hermit. Just
home girl.
Yeah, definitely. I'll happily go party on a weekend, but...
Need to be in your bed then, yeah. Can you give me an idea of what an average week would look like for you?
So right now, I'm lucky enough to be working between 2 teams. So I've got product development, which is the main hub. So that's where my manager is, and that's where my mentor works. But I'm also working for the structural team in D&E. So I get to kind of pitch into different projects, which is really lucky. So Monday morning is all meetings, catching up with people, seeing what's going on. And then from that, I'll get set work by Nigel to kind of do what I want to do that week. So right now I'm doing weld inspections for a new product that's coming up. And then I might be doing a racking test or some form of testing for our product, or I could be doing some 3D modelling. It completely varies week to week, especially in this team, because you could get an email through saying, urgent, need this for a client. Can you quickly just run some calculations to answer this question? And then on Thursday, obviously, is my degree day. So it's kind of just each week you could be doing anything of such a scope of work, which is amazing. I love it, because I couldn't sit there and do the same thing every day.
Getting bored, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Keeps it fresh. So do you actually have a mentor?
Yeah, I do. So she's coming on the podcast, so you get to hear from her. So Ellie, and she's been amazing. I've had her from day one, and I'm so lucky that we get along so well. So I actually played for a netball team once. You know, we know each other outside of work as well. I'd like to say we're really good friends. Ellie might say differently. But no, it's been really helpful having someone who's kind of that like mediator between your manager and you. Like there is someone you can go to saying, do I need to bring this up? What do you think about this? Don't know how I'm feeling about this. Just being 100% honest. If you don't want to talk to your manager, I'm lucky. I'm really good friends with my manager and he's great. But it's really nice having someone there that you can just talk to about well-being outside of work, inside of work. They just give you that advice. And it's also nice when you get to work on projects with them. So it's kind of like guidance.
It is work and that personal support as well. So it's just somebody to bounce off.
Completely. And I think having that really helped like get into the world of work and get into this really unique apprenticeship that I'm lucky enough to be a part of. But it's also nice to know that Ellie has a mentor and everyone else in the business has a mentor. I think it really shows that Portakabin wants to give you that helping hand, and I think it's completely brilliant and a great way to set up the world of work.
Last question. Would you recommend an apprenticeship?
Completely. I will talk about it till I'm blue in the face about apprenticeships. And I think, obviously, if you're like me and you want to be hands-on and you want to learn practically, it's a great thing. But also, I don't think a lot of people realise what you can get an apprenticeship in. I think that's a really big issue with apprenticeships, because I know for me, I was one out of 3 girls in my whole apprenticeship year in engineering. So we all were going for apprenticeships in engineering.
Yeah.
And in our class, everyone was going, have you been spoken to about apprenticeships? I'm going, no. And this was at our college, they're going, apply for uni. Well, where's the apprenticeships? Where do we go for that? And they did have someone, but it didn't feel like you were pushed towards it. You were pushed towards going to uni. And that was kind of a sad thing for me, because it was like, I feel like I'm fighting against something. And I think it does need to be shown how much you can get apprenticeships in. Like, there's so many skills. I've got a friend in accounting and my boyfriend's in welding. There is completely, you can go from one end to the other, and I don't think you realise what you can do. So my advice would always be, if you can look around your location and you can find something that's in your field, an apprenticeship, go for it, because you won't regret it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time
for
today,
having
Niamh.
me.
It's been lovely speaking with you.
Thank you.